Hi there, I'm Michelle.
I'm Jim, and we are
Fatigue of Your Own. Welcome to another Motivational Monday.
Let's get motivated.
Woohoo! It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Be like cold weather. Yeah. It's wintertime. I mean,
Some people,
what happens.
Some people like cold.
They're welcome to it.
Some people like snow.
They're welcome to it.
Some people like ice.
They're welcome. I like ice in my glass. I don't like ice on the ground.
With a cold beverage, yes.
Yes. Yeah. I certainly don't like ice on the ground when I'm walking around with a cold beverage.
No.
I spill my drink.
Or driving.
Yes, or driving.
Awful.
It is awful.
Awful. All right. So winter is definitely here.
Mm-hmm.
And we are well into January.
We are.
It's January 13th. This past Friday, we had our webinar this past Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beginning of the webinar, we talked how it was Quitter's Day.
Yes. That day is Quitter's Day, yes.
The second Friday of January is Quitter's Day.
Right.
And that's the day that most people have abandoned their New Year's resolutions.
Right. They either abandon it or they abandon it that day, especially the people who talk about dieting, getting into shape, because that's the second weekend. They've already sacrificed for a weekend, and then they decide, oh, I've been so good so far. I think I can cheat. And the cheating ends up leading to, it's either they cheat on, they don't go work out, or they don't stick to their diet or whatever. And for most folks, not everybody, yeah, we all know examples of people. So when I talk about these things, I'm not saying every single person. There's always exceptions. But for most people, that once they break it, it's over.
It's over.
They're done.
So that's why it was Quitter's Day.
Right.
Okay. So now we're past Quitter's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And the webinar that we did was on conquering your goals. So if you're interested in the recording, let us know. We'll send it to you. However, we've got this quote by Anonymous, one of your favorite people.
Anonymous, yeah, I like Anonymous.
And why is Anonymous your favorite?
Just Anonymous is so smart. Anonymous has said so many amazing things. It's just stunning. I've never met Anonymous. I don't know who Anonymous is, but
Anonymous could make a small fortune.
Yes.
Off of some of the stuff that Anonymous
I think I'm going to change my name to Anonymous and see if I can collect some money off this stuff.
So we've got this quote by Anonymous. Set a goal so big that you can't achieve it until you grow into the kind of person who can. Ooh. Set a goal so big that you can't achieve it until you grow into the kind of person who can. All right. So tell me about this because this one really stuck out to you.
Yeah. It's the idea of you're basically you're setting a goal that is so big, mm-hmm. so awesome, mm-hmm. so huge that it's hard to see how you can achieve it initially. Anybody who has succeeded big time in business, they all started out that way, where basically they were having to take a leap of faith that they could actually achieve it, and they went for it. And that's the whole thing behind that idea. It kind of reminds me of when I was doing obstacle course racing. I didn't know if I could do that or not, especially the first one. Holy Toledo.
We've got pictures of you coming across the finish line, and you weren't running.
No, I was not running at that point. I couldn't.
And we were yelling, run, and I can't run.
I can't run. And it was because at that point, my hip flexors were hurting so bad that I was in a lot of pain. Mm-hmm. And so it was all I could do to walk. Running was done. Yeah. But that's because I had just finished 7.7 miles and gone up 3 ski slopes in that process. But it was a big goal, because that was my goal for that one, was to finish. That was it, just to finish. And I did it. It was a big goal, and And there were points, especially going up that 2 diamond ski slope, where I thought, I could just go back down the hill and stop. But I thought, no, I'm going to keep going.
I was surprised that they didn't have somebody who had a golf cart to pick people up along that hill.
They couldn't have a golf cart. That thing is so steep.
It was steep.
Yeah, you can't. No, that one's so steep. Your only options were go up or go back down.
Mhm.
And the problem with going back down is you'd run the risk of slipping. And if you did, you'd be sliding back down that hill, and that would not have been pleasant.
And you take out a bunch of people with you.
Maybe if there was anybody behind you,
Yeah.
but you'd also take off a lot of skin, and it wouldn't have been pretty. So it was really a case of, I just had to do it because, I was there. There I was right in the middle of it. And once I got to the top of the hill on that ski slope, because that was the last one we had to go up. At that point, I had a pretty good idea that I could make it, even though I got to say on the way down, there were a couple of points where I'm just going, man, this is hard. This is so hard. And then going down that slip and slide thing they had there was no cushioning underneath the plastic. So you were bouncing on every piece of the ground. Oh, that hurt. I was in a lot of pain, but I made it.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing, because I saw plenty of people along the way who they quit. I saw people that they were out shortly after the race, the run started. I won't call it a race, so we weren't racing, but shortly after the run started, is because they started up that first hill and they pulled something or tore something, you saw it was like bodies littered along the side the whole way through the thing. And then when I got to the top of the 2 diamond slope, there were all these people that were up there. They were sitting.
They sat down.
They sat down. And I think for a lot of them, they were done.
Yeah.
That was it. I don't know if you had any of the racers that took the shuttle back down the hill.
They weren't on my shuttle. No.
They weren't on your shuttle, but I'm sure there were some that were on those shuttles, because it was tough. It was tough. But it was one of those things. I took the leap and I made it. And then I completed several more after that over the course of a year, actually 2 years. But, that was a big goal, especially considering the shape that I was in at that point. But, I took the leap of faith and made it. And that's the whole idea behind that, is you're taking that big goal and you don't know. Can you really make it? Do you really have the capability? Are you going to be able to put together the team? Are you going to be able to, push yourself, and even especially through the hard times, to make it through? And, and that's the idea of you, as you're going through this process of achieving the goal, you're going to have to grow and expand yourself to be able to, become the person who can achieve that goal. And so when you see these people who become, they start a business from nothing.
Yeah.
I'll use the example of Jeff Bezos. Amazon started it in his garage. Most people don't realize this. He started in his garage in Seattle, and
selling textbooks.
Yeah, selling books.
Amazon was for books.
Yes, for books.
Mostly, and like I said, mostly textbooks.
Right.
You'd order, college students would go online to Amazon. They'd order their textbooks, and that's what he did.
Yep. And most people don't realize that there were a lot of folks out there in industry who said, there's no way this is going to work. This is a terrible idea. And early on, they lost. Yeah, they weren't making a profit. But then when they finally did make a profit, that was it. Boom. Katie bar the door, off it went. And now Amazon is huge worldwide.
Yeah.
And he did that in his lifetime. He did that himself.
But the other thing is, he's not the same person now.
Not even close.
As he was when he set that goal.
No.
You can't be.
Right.
To achieve that big of a goal, like you said, you've got to grow. You've got to change.
Yeah.
You won't be the same person you were when you started.
Right. Right. And I would say, I'm sure if you talk to him, he would tell you that he's a very different person now than he was then. And you see some of the things that he's involved in now with space travel and things like that. It's just amazing. It's amazing. And artificial intelligence, Amazon's leader in artificial intelligence, and so many other things. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's amazing what, was accomplished in a portion of a lifetime. I mean, really, he's not an old man.
No, he's not.
He's not an old guy.
He's not like Richard Branson. Richard Branson's starting to get up there now.
Yeah, Richard Branson's starting to get up there.
But when you look at what he's accomplished.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure that, all of it, Elon Musk, I mean, they'll all tell you, yes, they have grown through this whole process, and they had to grow and develop themselves in order to be able to handle the growth in their companies and being able to continue to keep it on track and do what they do. Because we've seen so many other companies that, they come and go, they grow to a certain size, and then it just becomes too much for, the people running the company to handle. And, all of a sudden you watch it. An example of that is Big Lots.
Yeah.
Big Lots is going out of business, and it's a shame because Big Lots, is
they got away though from what their original vision and purpose was.
Right.
Because when you think about what Big Lots was like 30 years ago, you went to Big Lots. Big Lots was set up. They bought lots.
Yeah. Big lots and odd lots.
Yeah. They bought when you would go to auction, and there would be the auction lots.
Mm-hmm.
And you had no idea what was in some of these things, but they would buy them.
Right.
And then they'd sell them.
Right.
And that's what was in there.
Right.
You'd find stuff in there that you couldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah. They buy them super cheap and sell them cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how they'd make a little bit of a profit, but that's how they operated.
Right.
And they got away from that.
They got away from that. It became just another retail store. And yeah, that didn't work out well.
No.
And now Big Lots is about to disappear.
Yep.
And it's a shame.
Yeah.
Because I've always liked Big Lots.
I know. You used to bring home interesting things.
All kinds of interesting things from Big Lots.
Oh, what was the licorice that you had?
It was licorice with oat bran in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why that didn't do well out there in the regular world. And there was all this licorice with oat bran at Big Lots.
People like black licorice. People like oat bran. Put them together, you got a winning product.
No, you don't. However, when they changed and when they grew, they didn't stay true to themselves.
Right. They didn't. They got away from the original vision of the company.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they were the poor man's Walmart.
That's Dollar General. And everybody always thought Walmart was the poor man's Walmart, but apparently Dollar General is.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. But Big Lots, you're right. They used to be. That's where you would go and you would get stuff super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd never know. And then when they added furniture, that's when I knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
Because that's where you could go to buy. I mean, we've bought tons of furniture from there,
Mm-hmm.
but you could buy furniture there, and it was just like, no, this was not part of the plan.
No, and especially when you walk in and the floor, the furniture section took up, a third of the store.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was the central portion of the store. It was in the prime location, and you could tell they took the company and they took the idea in a different direction, and it didn't work.
No, Ollie's is more like what Big Lots used to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. For those who have Ollie's in their areas, yes, Ollie's is exactly what Big Lots started out being, where they would get all of this stuff cheap, and they would get it super cheap, and they would sell it cheap. And so that's why Ollie's is still around, still thriving.
And you walk into an Ollie's, highly disorganized.
Yes.
You never know what's going to be in there. And if you see something and you're like, oh, I kind of sort of like it, buy it.
Otherwise, it might not be
it,
there.
It won't be there.
And once it's gone, it's gone.
It's
They even say, once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone forever.
Yeah. And so Ollie's is more like what Big Lots started out being. Yeah.
You have, but the whole concept of this is you have to change. You have to grow.
Right.
You have to grow into the person who can accomplish that super big goal that you set for yourself.
But that means that in order to do that, you actually have to set a super big goal for yourself.
Yeah.
And there's the rub. And that also means that, we hear this all the time, that when you set this goal, you can't set it based on what you view that you can accomplish right now.
Mm-mm.
Because if you do, then you're going to always limit your goals to where you are right now.
Yeah.
It's a case of you have to set that big goal and then have the faith that you are going to be able to develop into the kind of person that can achieve that goal. That you can't. There was another quote that we were looking at with Martin Luther King saying, when you're what was it? It's to the effect of when you're climbing, trying to achieve a goal, you don't need to see the entire staircase. You just need to
take the first step.
You need to take the first step.
Yep.
And that's essentially the same idea behind this one.
Mm-hmm.
Is you don't need to know how you're going to get there, especially towards the end. You just need to start moving in that direction.
Yeah.
What was it? The guy at Walden's Pond, Emerson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
I think so.
Yeah, with saying that you move confidently in the direction of your dreams, you'll be met with success. I forget the entire quote. Undreamed of in quiet hours or something like that. It's the idea that you don't necessarily have to know how you're going to get there completely. You just got to start moving in that direction. And so that's really the idea.
That is. Now, for those of you out there who took the time to either set a New Year's resolution and now you're floundering, or you did better and you actually took the time to set goals, and now you're wondering, am I ever going to be able to achieve them? More than likely, you need help.
Right.
You need somebody to hold you accountable for that. And you also need somebody to be able to bounce ideas off of when it comes to strategy and stuff.
Or also, if you're the kind of person that you didn't bother to set resolutions and you haven't set goals yet, now's the time. Now's the time to set your goals. Now's the time to figure out what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. And spend a little bit of time thinking about it and working on it. That's the other problem with New Year's resolutions is New Year's Eve, people say, I'm going to do this. And, it's while they're in the middle of a party and it's like, yeah, you're not going to do any of it.
No, you're not.
Because they haven't put any thought into it.
And you've had a couple weeks to think.
Right. You've had a couple weeks to think. You've still got more time to think. So, there's nothing wrong with setting your goals in, the end of January or in February or in March or whenever. Just got to set them. Just got to do it.
You have to. Yeah. At some point in time, you got to stop and say, this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
And then do it. If you need help
mm-hmm.
in that area, either you've set the goals and you need the accountability partner, or you have no idea what your goals are and you need some help in developing them, or you need somebody to come up with strategy for you, who can help them?
Who can help them?
We can.
Oh, we can. We can. How can we do that? How can they get in touch with us?
How could they get in touch with us? Well, if you're interested in help from us, you need to reach out to a Teague of your own. And our phone number is 412-420-7975.
What was that?
Right there.
Say it again.
412-420-7975.
Sounds good.
You can either call and have a lovely conversation, or text and have an okay conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to have a lovely conversation through text.
It is.
But there it is. You could also email us,
mm-hmm.
info@ateagueofyourown.com, right there. info@ateagueofyourown.com. Send us an email. We are more than happy to help you. You could go to our website.
We have a website.
Fancy schmancy.
What is it?
ateagueofyourown.com. Where did we come up with that kind of?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not just URL?
I'm sure it's not just URL.
Okay, just checking.
Madam Mayor. No, it's not. It's ateagueofyourown.com. Go there. There's actually a contact page if you want to fill out the contact form and send it in. That's fine. But go there, take a look. You'll find links on there to resources such as a SMART goals worksheet.
Hey, there you
Hey.
go. Yeah, place to start.
To help you. That's, free resources on there. Go in there, take a look and see. But also, like I said, you can reach out and contact us. We can help you. We can help your organization when it comes to setting goals, creating that vision that you have, figuring out what your values are,
Mhm.
fun stuff like that. So let us know. We are on social media. We are on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram. And we've got a YouTube channel.
We do.
Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel,
Mhm,
please. Like and
mhm.
subscribe to our social media pages, and let us know. Let us know some of the challenges that you're having when it comes to your goals. Let us know some of the wins that you're having when it comes to your goals. What are you celebrating? Because we're interested in hearing that. All right, middle of the month. Things are going swimmingly for many of you. Some of you need a little bit of help. Reach out to us. Let us know what we can do to help you. And we will see you next week. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.